Good day, one and all. My name is Kathy, and welcome to this episode of the Scrap and Crafty Gardener. Today, I'm going to be making a masculine card using watercolors, but using Crayola washable markers. I will be using this rubber stamp. It's a nature scene with water. This is from Northwoods Rubber Stamps. So I'm going to be making my usual 5x7 card. And I've chosen a white background today. This measures 10 inches by 7 inches. I scored it at my 5-inch mark, folded it, creased it with my bone folder. And then I have a piece of white that measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And I haven't yet decided whether my card is going to be vertical or horizontal. I also chose 2 colors of paper. One's a yellow-brown with some writing on it. This is actually I think a railroad timetable in the background. And just a chocolate brown. I'm going to use that for accents, but I don't know which color yet. It's going to depend on how my watercolor turns out. And then I have a piece of watercolor paper, and I just used this from Northwoods Rubber Stamps. I got this at a scrapbook convention a couple years ago. It just happens to be the watercolor paper I have. You can use any watercolor paper that you prefer. As I said, this measures 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, but it's going to get cut down. I only need my stamped image on here. And I'm just using Crayola. These are actually Crayola Super Tips, but they're washable markers that your kids may have, or you may have. You don't need anything fancy for this. I happen to have a water brush, but if you don't, you can use a plain old paintbrush dipped in water. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my image onto the watercolor paper. And this was a rubber stamp on a wooden background. I took it off and put my foam on. And just a few other things that I'll show you when I get to those. So I'm just going to put this in here. I don't really need to center it. I'm going to try and save as much of this paper as I can. Watercolor paper isn't cheap, but it's well worth it. Now, you don't want to use a dye ink with watercoloring because it can smear. Because you can watercolor with dye inks. So I'm using the VersaFine Clear Nocturne. One of my favorite inks because I can use it just plain old stamping. I can use it with watercolors. I can use it with alcohol ink markers. There's other inks out there that will do that. This just happens to be the one I have and know about. You can use any one that you choose. Just test it out on a scrap first to see if it's going to run when you put water on it. If it does, then you know you really shouldn't use that unless that is the look you're going for. I'm going to take a couple stampings of this because the watercolor paper is absorbent. So I want to get a nice black layer on this. And I think one more time I ought to do that. I like I love the Northwoods Rubber Stamps, but one of the cool things is even after you remove it from the packaging, you can still tell what company it is because down in fine print, hidden in the design, you can see the designer's name. I think this is GinaK, if I remember correctly. It's stamped, it would be stamped right here in the weeds that you really can't see, but you can see it on the stamp. All right, now I'm just going to clean this off with a little bit of water. Yes, it does clean off the stamp with water, but it doesn't run when you watercolor it. When you think about it, it kind of doesn't make sense, but that's the way it works. done stamping temporarily. So I'm just going to use my scissors and just trim off probably that much of it, just so I can save that. And I'll put that in my package. Now to watercolor, you just choose some colors. I think I want, a blue, green. I'm trying to pick watercolors here. I'm going to color my water first. Might do a couple different shades of blue. And it's real simple. If you have a glass mat or any slick surface, just scribble right onto your glass mat. And you don't need much, you just need a little bit. And now I'm going to start with my light, pardon me, I'm going to start with my lightest color and have that facing me. And I'm going to start mixing in the next color. Just mixing them together. And the one nice thing about this is if maybe you get an area that has too dark of a color, well then you can just go back in with some more water and lighten that up. Now I want this back here to be a little bit darker because it's kind of in the shadows. And then I'm going to take the dark again down here and just hint along the riverbank of some shadows. And a little bit down here. Now, I'm not great at watercoloring. It's fun. Don't claim to be a professional at this by any stretch of the imagination. The one nice thing about the Northwoods stamps is they do the designing and you just need to color and it looks good. All right, now I'm just gonna put some water over here and I just have a paper towel that I'm gonna use today. Make sure that's nice and dry. I'm sorry, I hit the camera mount. All right. Now, these are actually rocks over here with a little bit of grass. I'm going to go with brown. Maybe like an orangey brown, a brown, and a dark brown. And let me just get a quick drink here. And you can just keep going with your brush. Now I'm going to start with a lighter color brown. And right there where I just did is where the artist name GinaK is. Now there is grass in here, so I'm going to go back in a few minutes after I get the rocks done and put the green in. I just want to do a light color here because we've also got the tree trunk. And I want the tree to be a darker brown. Pardon me. Just mixing the two colors together at the top. And it's okay if it's not perfect, if you leave white spots, because that's the fun thing about watercolors, is it's not meant to be perfect. Now these rocks here in the middle, I'm going to do with a dark gray, but on the side, I wanted it brown. Now I'm going to use this chocolate brown to do the tree trunk. And it's here. If you go outside the image, that's okay. All right. I will pick a little bit of a gray here. Let's see. Do I have a... This is more like a green gray, I want to say. Yeah, let's try that for the rocks. Oh yeah, that looks good. And then I'll just find a darker color to add to them. Now, let's see. What color is this? Yeah, that'll work. That's a dark gray. I want to find a black. Do I have a black in here? I think so. Just to make the shadows around the rocks look more realistic. And this rock, I want to add some gray in here. Okay, now for some greens. We'll just wipe this up real quick. It will dry fairly quickly, but it wipes up real easily. So you can actually leave it here on your mat. If you're going to come back and color with it, just let it dry on your mat, spritz it with a little water or your water brush, and you're good to go again. So greens, I think that green, maybe an olive and a dark olive and a deep green. Oh, that's not it. Grabbed the wrong one. I'm going to start with the bright green. I'm just going to scribble them on here. Then the light olive, dark olive, green. Okay. The brighter color I'm putting down at the bottom because that's closest to us in perspective. At least that's what I'm going for. And then I'm going to gradually go darker by mixing the two colors. And now I'm going to mix the dark olive with the light olive and get these trees here. And just scribble them. You don't have to follow the lines. Just scribble away and have fun, because you can fill it in and make it look like there's a whole forest here just by doing that. See, if I did the individual trees, it would be like this. But when I fill them all in, looks like you have a nice little forest back there. Now I'm going to take the darker color and go over these pine trees here. I'll have to see if I can find the name of this stamp and list it below if I can find it. Pardon me, another drink. Okay. But Northwoods are my absolute favorite for scenes and things like that. And I'm going to use a little bit, I'm just going to mix them all together now. And there's no rhyme or reason why I did that, I just decided to do it. That way you kind of get the impression that there's more trees behind that are in the shadows and they're a deeper color. I'm going to need a little bit more of that dark green. So I'm going to do this tree over here. Then mix it all together, squeeze out a little bit more water here. And I'm just going back now and filling in where there might be more trees in my scene, just to add a little dimension. And anything I may have missed coloring before. All right, now I'm done with those colors. Let me just wipe this up. Okay, now I want to do the clouds. I think I want those to be as pale of a gray as I can. So let's see what this color is. Oh, yeah, that's so pale I can barely see it on here. So let's see how that turns out. Oh, that's nice. Yes. Put a little bit more on there. Okay, now for the sky. Let's see how this pale blue works. I'm just going to try it down here to see if I like it. And I do. So I'm just going to pale blue the whole thing. And I'm doing a splotchy sky because the sky is not perfectly blue from one end to the other. There's shades, variations with some whites thrown in. Okay, there's my watercolored image. Just going to clean up my mat here. Put the cap back on my water brush. And we're done coloring. You can use any kid's washable markers. Doesn't have to be Crayola, just anything that's washable. Now it's fairly dry, but I'm going to have my heat tool here. I'm going to turn it on for just a second. It's going to be loud. And I'm just going to go over this. You could let it dry naturally. Doesn't take very long. It's dry already, as a matter of fact. But now I'm going to cut it out. And I have chosen, I don't know where these dies came from. These are rectangle dies with notched corners. And I think I want this one, and I just need to figure out where I want my design to be. And I'm thinking like right there. I kind of want the river to be the key image here. All right, I'm gonna run this through my die cut machine. That's nice. There is a little bit up here that I hadn't colored, so I'm just going to take my pen and pull some of the blue from the sky just to fill it in. And then same down here, I'm going to pull from the lake. And color that in. Okay. Now is where I decide, do I want brown behind this, which I'm kind of leaning towards, or this gold behind it? And I'm thinking it's going to be the brown. So I'm going to go with the next largest die here. Just cut that out. Now that should fit nicely right behind. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Okay. Now I've got to do a little bit more research to see what company made these dies. As I said, I never used to care. I just got it because I liked it. But I didn't realize that I would be doing this later in my life and need to remember what company was what so that I could give them credit, because they deserve the credit. Okay, now I got my card front and decide, do I want to do this? I want to go this way. Let's see. Yes, I want to go this way. Now, it needs a little something, something. Let me get my GinaK dies. Hold on. It does. It needs, for Master Layouts 8, there are these strips. And so I'm just going to put a couple strips on the card. It just needs a little something extra. And these are just 1/4 inch strips that are 6 1/4 inches long. I don't need it to go all the way across the card. I'm thinking just a couple sticking out, perhaps. But let me see what I want to do here. I do want to stamp a couple of sentiments. I'll move those up here. And I picked out Honeybee Stamps Hooked on You, because I want this to be a masculine birthday card. So I want to use the happy birthday. And I think I want to do relax and enjoy your day also. This is the same color white. Yep, this is just some scrap paper I'm going to cut and stamp on. But if I do this, let's see. Now you're seeing my process, because I didn't have this idea when I started, just knowing that I wanted to watercolor an image. But how I want to present it. If I do relax and enjoy your day, put these close together. Okay, I'm going to stamp on here. Relax and enjoy your day. Right down in this corner. And I want to make sure I have that straight. So I have a piece of acetate that I'm just going to stamp on. Yes, that's fairly straight. I'll just use my paper towel from earlier. Get a little bit more water on that. Okay. All right, clean that off. Now, I want those to go there. Perhaps that looks strange. I don't want to do that. I'm going to put one of them right here above this. So this is going to get glued down right now. I know this one's going down there. I just don't know about the other. I want that to go to the end here, so I need to slide it over a little bit. Come on, all the way over. Put a little bit more glue here at the bottom. So that goes like that. Oh, I got some smudge on there. Okay. Do I want more strips? Or not? Yes, 2 strips. Okay, 2 strips it's going to be. I'm just going to hold that down for just a moment. Okay. I do want to do happy birthday on here. But I don't think I want to put it up here. I'm going to stamp it on a separate piece and cut it out. I think one of these little frames will work. Let me see. Let's just give it a go. Once more, I believe. Need to concentrate on the H. That's good. My goodness. Making a mess. Okay, done stamping. Now, let's see. I have this Waffle Flower A7 master set that's rectangles. And I believe one of these rectangles, yes, this one will cut out nicely. Which, oh, my glue bottle's dripping all over my cutting mat. Okay. These guys go back up there. I'm going to cut this one out, and then I'm going to cut out 2 more, just plain, without words stamped on them. I just shifted that. And one more. Okay, so I know these are going to get glued together. Just to add some depth and dimension. Okay. Now see where I want to put this on the card. I'm going to put that at the bottom of the lake. So let me get everything together. This is going to go flat on the card. Slide it over just a hair. And this is going to get glued flat to the brown, but then I want to pop up this decorative square. And I'm going to be using my 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch, I think. Yeah, these are 1/8 of an inch. Yes, 1/8 of an inch foam squares. And these will curve right around the corner. Just one more, just to hold that. They curve better when you take the top paper off first, but they curve just as well with it on, unless you're making a tight corner and then you want to take the this top paper off first. And I'm not done embellishing this yet. So this is going to go over here. And I'm going to put the happy birthday. And I'm going to pop that up a little bit more too. I'm just going to put one of these behind it. Now, I'm going to put my glue bottle cover back on here. Now, I have chosen some stickles in the color Twinkle because it has a blue. So I'm going to put this in my water. And I have my stickle brush, which is a short, very stiff bristle brush I do not wash it because I want it to remain stiff. Because I only use this brush for stickles, and I like to daub and pat and brush. Okay, and I think I will get my diamond stickles for the clouds in the sky. The diamond is more of a clear with a gold glitter in it, then the twinkle is more blue. Now if you just look at the bottles, they both look white, but then when you put them in the light, you can see how this has more of a gold and this has more of a blue. So this works really great for water. All right, I think I need a few little gold accents. Let me put this on pause. I'm going to go grab some gold things. I'll be right back. I grabbed these. These are pearls, but they're shiny gold. And I think they will go nicely with this card. Yeah, I'm just going to put a couple on the strip here. I'm going to use the tiniest ones. Get that straight. Maybe if I go here. That one just doesn't want to stay in the center. I think I'm going to do this top strip kind of spaced out. And I'll do one more. Okay, that's my card today, a masculine birthday card. Whoops, where'd that little gold sequin go? Not sequin, pearl. It doesn't want to be on this card. So let me get my glue, and it's going to have to stay on this card whether it wants to or not. I think they're all going to need to be glued. One issue with having things that you don't use in a long time is if they were sticky to start with, they lose that stickiness. Oh, I got to find me some new angled tweezers. These just don't cut it. There we go. Okay, that's my card for today. Thank you so much for watching. Get out if you have kids or grandkids, see if they have any washable markers that you can watercolor with and just play. It's fun. Have a great rest of your day.